Okay, everyone, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Brad Cooper. I am with ClientWhys, and we're ready to get started on our webinar, How to Get More from Tax Season. And again, I'm Brad Cooper with ClientWhys. I'm on the line here with my trusted colleague, and we've done many of these webinars together, Lee Reams, our CEO of ClientWhys. Lee, can you go ahead and say hello?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Brad. It's kind of funny. It feels like tax season just ended October, and now here we are. You're pushing us to start talking about next season already, but I do think the timing is perfect, and hopefully everyone who kind of hears some of the points we're going to go over today will get a lot of benefit out of it.
Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, it's I think with the season that just ended, and then also with the election less than a week away here, it's hard to get past the spectacle without going. I'm going to try to keep this politics free on this on this webinar, but it's kind of hard for us all to get our heads past this, or maybe some of us want to get beyond it, I think, at this point. So anyway, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, thanks everyone for joining, and also thanks to the folks at CPA Academy helping to co-host and co-sponsor the webinar today. I'm going to go through some of the housekeeping items. The webinar is going to be 50 minutes with about 10 minutes at the end for questions and answers. If you do need to drop early, if you need to drop at 50 minutes, or if you want to stay a little bit and then drop, that's fine. Feel free to drop after the 50 minutes, but please do stay at least that long because we do have some special offers at the end of our webinar, and it's also required for the CPE credit if you are going for the CPE credit, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. The webinar is being recorded, and so it will be available for playback and for sharing with colleagues. If you do have questions, we love questions. Please send them in. The way to do that is that there is a questions box there on your GoToWebinar or GoToMeeting software. You should see the little bar, and if you go ahead and expand that, you should see some items there. I would definitely choose, I actually have mic and speaker select there, but I would choose telephone. It's a little bit better. There are two handouts. Actually, there's two handouts today. One is the presentation slides, and the other one is a white paper that we're going to talk about. Lee's going to talk about it in a bit. There's also that questions box there. So go ahead and ask any questions you have. We'll try to get to those at the end. If there's any issues or things like that, there's also the Citrix GoToMeeting link there. If you have technical issues, this is the internet, so audio does cut out every once in a while, either on your end or our end. So just bear with us. Unless you lose us for a long time for some reason, then you can let us know, like somebody just did. Amy just let us know right now. But hopefully the rest of you are hearing us. But if you do, if everyone stops hearing us, then let us know. But hopefully, Lee or someone on our team will let us know if they don't hear us. This is designed for U.S.-based small practices, so tax and accounting practices. Obviously, today we're going to dive pretty deep on tax type marketing. However, other types of practices and other small businesses even probably will benefit from the webinar. Anybody can join, but this is going to be pretty U.S. tax focused for this particular webinar. And then our usual disclaimer, we're not attorneys, so please do consult your governing bodies or legal representation for any kinds of ethical or legal marketing issues. Okay, so going to go ahead and introduce Lee Reams. Lee, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure, Brad. So my name is Lee Reams. I have been in the tax accounting space for well over 20 years, originally from our previous company, Image One, which we grew to over 40,000 customers. We have been basically content producers, so helping you communicate better with your client base. And now with ClientWhys and TaxBuzz, we're really moving and pushing that into the digital world. So excited to be here and kind of share some of our thoughts with you.
Very good, thank you. And once again, my name is Brad Cooper. We also with ClientWhys have been in the digital marketing business for a long time now, worked with thousands of clients, predominantly professional services clients, including accountants. So thousands of accountants, it's what I love to do. It's what we do every day here at ClientWhys, and so we're looking forward to getting into some of the content here. So about the CPE credit, you should have gotten in some information if you've ever joined via CPA Academy. They have their own process, and they will send information on how to get the CPE credit. And so if you've done it before, you should know, and if not, hopefully you received the information. And then if you came through to the webinar through us, through ClientWhys, we also can offer CPE credit for CPAs. The link is there. You should also have it in the handout. There's a code that you need to enter when you go to the site to sign in. and the information is there on the handout, so you can get CPE credit through us as well. And so, okay, about the webinar, so some of the things we're going to learn today. We're going to learn some ways that your firm can get ready for tax season, especially with regards to your marketing and your communications. So we're going to give you some tips on generating client testimonials and 5-star reviews, very important as you get into working with clients. And we're also going to give you 6 goals. So these are goals that we suggest. Hopefully you can do at least a few of them, but you're going to get some goals that we're going to set for you that you can set for yourselves to accomplish during this next tax season to help you be more productive, help you be more profitable, help you gain more clients as we go along. And then hopefully you'll come away with this webinar with some practical next steps. We're also here. So if you have any questions about what we're going through today, there's a lot of that we actually do for clients. So we can talk about some options, but lots of ways to get help on this from us, from others. But hopefully there's a few things that you're going to come away with and be able to apply right to this next upcoming tax season. And so just to, we talked a little bit about it, but about us and what we do for our clients, a variety of things. So we have technology and services that help clients predominantly to grow their brands online, to help build and protect their reputation. So we have content marketing, search engine optimization, websites. We have a site of our own called taxbuzz.com, which is actually the #1 site in terms of the traffic that we see coming to it, millions of visits from people around the country looking for tax professionals. So we will talk more about TaxBuzz as well, but that's another aspect that we have of our company and working with our clients. And then more about our education. So that is something we're big believers in, webinars like the one today. We also have some webinars that are recorded on our YouTube channel. Wendy on our operations team should be sending you some links throughout this webinar. She may have already, or we'll be sending them shortly, but we'll have links to our blog, links to our YouTube channel, which has lots of great seminars and that we've done. I would definitely suggest checking those out because there are some details in there that we may not go over today. And speaking of today, so today's agenda. So Lee's going to start off giving us some background on tax season and how it applies to the different types of clients that are out there and how this season really can be different.
This time you did drop off. There you go.
Okay. Am I dropping off? Or you
no, you're good now. You're back. Yeah, you're back.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry about that if I dropped off for a second. But so we're going to break it down in terms of the tax season. We're going to break it down stages. And so one would be the preparation stage, which is sort of now until December, the end of the year, the acquisition and scheduling, where you're stage where we're looking at, serving your clients through late January into April, and then after tax season, April 15th and beyond. And then we're going to talk about the goals and then the Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and turn it now over to Lee.
Thanks, Brad. So a couple things. I'm going to start with the most basic stuff, and basically how do tax clients find you? The most obvious and the way the business has always been run is word-of-mouth referrals, and that still is a major source for all of our business. It's the way if you do a good job and people like you, they most likely will refer you, and it's still the primary way most people get new clients. But the differences and the changes that have occurred today is on the digital landscape and the pure transparency that the web brings. So there's different ways you're communicating and people are finding you, via your email newsletters, via search engines. They're using keywords to find tax professionals, accountants in their area. They're primarily using Google, but there's Bing, and other search engines. And this kind of transitions then into social media. Social media is in reality its own kind of search engine today. Not having a presence there is kind of a big minus, but social media is another place that people find you. The other thing is obviously the marketplace sites like TaxBuzz, Yelp, Thumbtack, Angie's List. All of these marketplace sites make it easier for consumers to find information about you, to be able to compare and contrast your profile to others. And this is a huge area and a huge generator now where clients come from. The other thing is something that people kind of don't use as much is pure PR and things like guest blogs. We've had our clients spotlighted in local newspapers, bloggers recommending them, things like that. And it's a big way for you to kind of stand out and have clients find you. So there's all these different areas now that people are using, right? So the world today, as I said, is transparent. And what that means to me is, what do people use to make a decision? So comparing one CPA to another, or an enrolled agent to another enrolled agent, a tax professional, et cetera, to one another, a consumer has no real knowledge without actually hiring you and using your service on the quality of your expertise, of the service that you provide. So the way they figure that out before they hire you is, one, either from a word-of-mouth referral, or in today's age, the importance of client reviews. So Bright Local actually just came out with this survey, I think last week, and this is kind of the most current information, but I think it's very important for people to understand. And again, I consider it common sense, since I don't buy anything, on Amazon.com or anything without now looking at what others, rate things. So the biggest one here is 74% take positive reviews make me trust a business more. I think that is a huge influencer. People's story, your client's story, really does the selling for you. And more importantly here, 60% say negative reviews make me question the quality of the business. So think of this scenario. Someone referred you, one of your best clients referred you, that person Googles your name and they find one-star reviews. Now, what are the chances of that client, that prospect or referral becoming a client? It goes down exponentially. So it's really important that you concentrate on reviews. It's something we talk about over and over again, and it's one of the easiest ways to make an impact this tax season. So I'm just going to go through these bullet points again. The other thing was here, 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. So they're given as much weight as that old-fashioned referral. So how does this apply? So think about that scenario where you get a referral, someone Googles your name. What people see is going to be crucial on whether or not. Example I used is Karen Drescher. She's one of our clients, and you'll see here, this is a profile. This is what you want people to see when they Google your name. You want your website to be front and center. You want your review sites to be listed with all your 5 stars. And then on the right side, Google My Business now is taking reviews from the web, including TaxBuzz, and adding them too. So all the Google Knowledge panels now have reviews from other websites. So it is critical that you establish and attract a very solid review profile. And kind of the way I look at this is, if you establish your brand as having one very positive trait or a lot of reviews, prospects are more likely to believe that other qualities that you're selling are going to work as well. So in other words, they subconsciously form a positive bias. So if a bunch of people are talking highly about you, subconsciously they're going to think, hey, this must be true. This must be someone who I should work with. So the bottom line is that you can kill it in one area. So if you can get a bunch of reviews, it's easier to improve your overall public perception and thrive in other areas. So I think that's an important thing to kind of take away from this today. So let's talk about the type of clients. There's the first-time filers, so people just getting in the workforce. You're going to have switchers. People switch based on price, based on experience, based on life events. We are huge in the content we generate about life events. And the reason is life events is one of the biggest percentage guide to making people change their professional or their filing, the way they file. So these are just some of them, marriage, divorce, having children, job changes, moving to new areas, health issues, income or increases in income, things like that. So it's kind of obvious, but these are things that sometimes people forget, that these life events occur year-round. And a lot of people think of the tax business as just a very focused here, February 1 or late January through April 15th or 18th or 17th, whatever the new deadline is. That's kind of the way people think. But in reality, it's not, because these things occur, these events occur year-round, and you need to be in front of people when that happens in order to convert them to a new client. Obviously, people starting new businesses is a great way to get new clients, and a lot of these people now in kind of the solopreneur world create new opportunities for you as a tax professional to push people from kind of DIY stuff to maybe they need a little more expertise because of their surroundings and what they do. So this is a chart this was supplied, something we had Google provide to us, and it's something that I think is important to understand. And again, it's somewhat common sense, but the survey was done where the tendency to DIY person is most likely, obviously, price. When they start deciding to change what motivates them to change? It's a bad experience. So did they have a bad experience with the DIY software? Did they have a bad experience, at H&R Block? So that's kind of, it starts pushing the cycle towards the tendency to go to a tax preparer. Recommendations, word of mouth, most likely going to a tax preparer. And then guess what? The #1 reason someone goes to a tax preparer, life events. So I think this is something that when you incorporate your own strategy, whether you're blogging, your content, your email newsletter, what you post on social media, are important to you and your clients, and start posting content about that. Start establishing yourself as an expert in that. So I'm going to continue going through some of the first-time filers and the switcher market sizes. So think about this. This is a significant amount of people. And this is from 2014 data, but 5.4 million people bought a home. 2.1 people got married. So getting married, there's perfect content that you could target and talk about and kind of establish your expertise. And there's a significant amount of people that might be making a switch. So, changing jobs, 40 million people in 2014. Starting families, having children, setting up 529 plans. Again, I'm trying to get you guys to think about some of this life event content that you should be developing and sharing with your audience. So there's millions of opportunities here per year. So let's kind of talk about, this might be hard to see on some of the smaller screens, but basically we wanted to give some insights on how Americans file their taxes. So the IRS came out in 2012 with a forecast of what they thought the growth in tax filing would be. And so basically what this chart is showing us, it's not really a huge growth area in the amount of people we can work with, but it's a battle over the filing method. And they expect that practitioners will e-file 83 million returns in 2018. So this is kind of interesting as far as the age goes, but the 45% here, the millennial, the 25 through 34, they're using TurboTax, so digital tax, online tax, things like that. They're only 21%. So the green bar here is I have an accountant. The blue bar is the TurboTax, and then the yellow is kind of the H&R Block Liberty area. But I think it's important, as you can see, as the older client base that you might have, they're more likely to use a tax accountant. So the question I would throw out there is, what are you doing to start relationships with the children of your current clients? What are you doing to be more active on social media where they are, to maybe, can make them reconsider, maybe using this DIY TurboTax isn't the right thing. I drive for Uber, I have a couple other, ways of freelancing that I get income, and there's, my tax situation no longer is easy as it used to be. And when you combine that with the premium tax credit and some other things, it's definitely an area that this audience here, perhaps we can start swinging the green bar more into the blue, and obviously try to take away from some of the brick and mortar, the franchise level, the mom and pop types that close their doors after tax season. So I think this is important to just understand, where are the age groups coming from. This is search. This is activity on specific search terms. And the February one, so it's late January it starts, but I mean, you can see the spike. So this is where a lot of the switchers are deciding to make a change. So it's pretty consistent throughout the year. So this is, what people are doing. They're going to Google, they're searching tax preparer. We see it on TaxBuzz. Our traffic was our biggest day, but it's all in that tight time frame. So having your brand and your website optimized for these search terms when people start looking is imperative. So let's kind of talk about it here. The peak, again, is January 1 through February 15th, and then we peak again in April 15th. So you can't wait till January 1 to start showing up in search. What you do today usually takes, from our point of view, about 2 to 3 months for a site and a brand. If you start getting reviews, you start being active on social media, you have a website that's properly built, it takes 2 to 3 months for it to get indexed from the starting point, and then you build from there. So it's just a lot of consistency. The terms that people are looking for: tax preparer, tax accountant, tax service, best tax preparer reviews. So these are things you need to know about, because when you set up your website, and even some of the meta titles and descriptions and the way you write your copy, you really need to start thinking about not what you think people are searching on, but where the actual volume of search phrases are going. So the more content you can have around these search terms, obviously the better you're going to rank. So this all kind of runs down to you need to market year-round. So using newsletters, social media, and I have a slide or a section where I'm going to talk about that, what you do kind of after tax season later on. But that's kind of the basis. I'm going to hand it over to Brad.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lee. And now, so that's a good background on the different types of clients that may be coming to you during tax season and some of the things, the search terms and the seasonality. And now we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about tax season itself. And I'm just calling it the 4 stages of the tax season, and we're breaking these down a little bit. So now you can see at each of these different stages some of the things we're going to talk about in terms of things you can do and to help maximize the tax season for you and your practice. So the first stage I'm just calling prepare. It's from now until the end of the year, until December 31st, where it's really getting ready. People get crazy during tax season, so there's a lot of things you can and should do to prepare for the season. Next, we're going to talk about acquiring clients and scheduling them in. It's approximately between the first of the year towards about mid-February, where you're really bringing on clients, repeat clients are coming in, you're scheduling appointments with them. It's a good time to grow. It's a good time to make sure you can onboard and get ready for the repeat clients that you have coming into the practice. And then the third stage, we're just calling serve, and that's when you're doing the bulk of the work. It's really when a lot of our clients are heads down from about late January to April 18th is the deadline for individual filing this year. So from late January to the April deadline, it's where you're really going to be heads down doing a lot of the work, and you're serving your clients, and you're obviously completing a good number of tax returns. And so that's going to be heads down time. At the same time, there's a couple of things that you can do to help you long-term with your practice, and we'll talk about those. And then finally, Lee is going to talk a little bit about after April 18th and things that you can and should be doing after tax season and throughout the whole year. And then obviously we bring it back all the way back around again and do it all over again next year. And so for the first stage, what we're calling prepare from now until the end of the year, what are some things that you can do? And so, it is a little bit late in terms of some things you can do. Search engine optimization, we're going to talk about that in a second, showing up on Google. Some of those things take longer than the 60 or so days that we now have. So the bottom line is don't wait. Start as soon as possible. But the good news is there are still some things you can do, starting with what I'm calling your core marketing. And the core marketing includes things like your firm's website. So if you don't already have a website for your business, it's a very good idea to get one for the business that's professional. It's mobile friendly. Google just came out not too long ago with some compliance rules on mobile friendliness. So things like making sure it looks good on all devices, having lots of great content on there for your practice, having tools that are available for both prospective clients and clients. These are a lot of the things that we do for our clients when we build websites for them on our platform, and something that you can and should do. If you don't have one, it takes us literally can take us as quickly as a few days to 5 days to have a great looking professional website up and live for your practice. So even if you started today, you could have a nice site in about a week or so. So that's something that can be done. And even if you already have a website, there are things that you can do to improve the website before the end of the year. Make sure it reflects all your services. Make sure it has things like your office hours during tax season, the staff profiles and biographies, your phone number and contact information. Make sure that's all up to date. Lots of things you can do to make sure, and just to spruce up the site as well. You can add content maybe and do a new design, and that's something we help with our clients with as well before the end of the year. So also part of your core marketing, social media. This is another key part of communicating with existing clients, getting in front of prospective clients, as well as showing up well in search engines in Google. Google now looks to social media profiles when they look to determine what pros they're going to show on various searches on Google. So lots of reasons to have social media accounts for your practice across Twitter, Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn, as well for yourself on professional sites like LinkedIn. And we did a whole webinar on this topic, so I won't go too deep into social media today. you can go back and look at our YouTube videos. There is one regarding social media with lots of great detail on there. But before the end of this year, if you don't already have social media profiles for your practice on all 4 of those social media sites with nice profiles built out, and ideally some content that's posted to those profiles between now and then, we do that automatically for our clients 2 to 3 times a week. We post out great accounting and tax and bookkeeping articles for our clients on their social media accounts on their behalf. And again, that's something, if you did want us to do that for you, it's something we set up very quickly. It could be up and running for you. You can have lots of great content posted out there. If you do it on your own, that's fine too. Just make sure you create those accounts, have things up and running, so that when tax time comes around, you'll have them there if you need to communicate with clients, to reach prospective clients, and to do better in search engines. Good idea to get your social media all built out before the end of the year. And then finally, as Lee mentioned several times, I believe, reviews, and getting those reviews from your clients on sites like TaxBuzz, like Google, before the end of the year, because what happens is when people are going to start looking for you starting in January, or looking for tax professionals, I should say, they're going to want to see these testimonials and reviews to validate you and your practice that you've done a good job by your other clients. And again, if people go to TaxBuzz, they're going to want to see profiles on TaxBuzz that have great reviews, and that just makes them that much more likely to call you versus the competitor in your city who might have reviews and you don't. So you definitely want to get your profiles claimed, built out, and get some reviews on sites like TaxBuzz and Google before the end of this year, so that you're all set up and you look really good, like Spencer Wilson does there on his tax profile, before the end of the year, before the 31st, because you won't have a lot of time to do a lot of that during tax season, although there are going to be times you're going to want to ask your clients for reviews then as well. But when people are looking for you, let's make sure you have some great reviews out there on the internet. Even if you get referrals, it's important to have reviews show up in Google when people even just search for your name or your firm's name, as Lee showed, and things like Google My Business, where he showed the Karen Drescher CPA's profile with those nice TaxBuzz reviews and other reviews on there. Even for referrals, you want them to see that. It's going to make you that much more likely to get that referred client and sign them up and work with them during tax season. The other thing, before the end of the year, ClientWhys have a CPE, obviously CPA Academy does as well. And this is more, it's less about marketing and communication, it's just more about being a 5-star practice. So making sure that you're up to date on all the latest tax law changes. A lot of the articles and content we post out has to do with these changes as well. So you don't want to post something, or have us post something out there that you don't see and your clients see it and ask you about it. So just being sure that you're up to date with the latest information on tax and accounting changes, so that you can demonstrate that expertise during tax season and you're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to, again, this is another one where I'm not going to go too deep into the content, but search engine optimization, and this just means essentially making sure that you have the best chance to show up in Google as one of the options when someone goes to Google to search for some of those phrases that we talked about: tax preparer, tax accountant, those kinds of things, CPA. We want to be sure that you are one of the ones that show up there, and the way that you do that, or the process that you use to do that, is through something called search engine optimization, or SEO. This is something we do for our clients. Our websites have great SEO characteristics. There are many other things outside of the website. So this little chart here that you can't see the details of, but it's something from a company called Moz, where they look at all the different factors that help you to show up in Google and search engines. Things like the keywords and contents you have on the website, what they call signals from things like social media, reviews. Obviously, reviews are a big one now, bigger and more important each day, and lots of other things. And so I'm not going to go into too many details, but again, this is a very long-term process. It takes 3 to 6 months to a year or more to start showing up in Google and other search engines. And so obviously start now, but keep in mind that search engine optimization is something that takes time. But the sooner you start, the better. Things like your content on your website, the videos that you produce, that you might, blogs that you might do, social media, and then the platform and the technology. And again, we've built that from the ground up to do well in search engines for our clients. So our website platform, this is one of the key things that it does. for our clients, and our clients actually do fairly well. If you look at various searches around the country, many of our client sites show up on page 1 of Google very well for various types of searches. Many of the searches that Lee mentioned, tax preparer, CPA, in various cities around the country. A lot of our clients' websites, their social media, and even their TaxBuzz profiles now are showing up in search engines due to all of these factors, and technology, and our technology being one of them that helps you to show up. So, so you may have a website already, and if you do, great. In many cases, we see clients who come to us who have a website that was built by somebody else, or your nephew or something like that on WordPress or some other platform, where it's not going to be as well optimized. Set that over again. Okay. Where it's not going to be that well optimized for search engines because the technology is not there, the content is not there, it's not mobile responsive. There's many factors that the website just doesn't have. But you still can work with us if you just wanted us to do things like social media and search engine optimization. You don't have to have a website with us for us to help you. And then finally, to talk about this one more time, the reviews obviously is very important. Local directories as well. There's lots of sites out there that you can get your business on, and we help our clients do that. Hundreds, if not thousands, of sites like yp.com and Manta and all these others, where we do that automatically for our clients to help you with search engines and search engine optimization. And those are just simply called inbound links or citations. Those are going to help you on SEO as well. And then also, I didn't mention it, but things like PR and getting guest blogs, anywhere you can get other sites talking about you, talking about your business, linking back into you, all of those things are going to help you with search engine optimization. There are some things that you can do between now and the end of the year to get that process started, and you definitely should, or hire somebody like us to help you get that started before the end of the year so that you have some chance to show up better in search engines throughout tax season. So something to get started now. You need some tools and some automation to help you with some of these things. And I'm showing the ClientWhys screen there. Again, you don't have to use us, but we do have many tools that can help you with managing your website as well as people, blog posting. We post 2 to 3 times a week with accounting and tax and bookkeeping articles. Email newsletters. We have a monthly newsletter, but those are important to keep in front of your clients throughout the whole year. And again, during tax season, when your hours change and want to let them know about the deadlines, things like that. Social media and posting as well. We post 2 to 3 times a week to social media. Lead management is another key, very important thing to have some automation with and some tools. Otherwise, what can happen is you'll get some leads in, some new prospective clients in through TaxBuzz or through your website or something like that. And if you're not keeping on top of them or have a tool to help you keep on top of them, it's going to be very difficult. And what's going to happen is if you don't respond, if you don't call them back right away, you may lose that new prospective client. And some other tax professional or accountant is going to get them if they have these tools. Things like client portals, very important during tax season to be able to securely share documents with your clients and to send secure messages. If you're still using email to send tax documents or documents with social security numbers, I mean, all you need to do is look at the news just about every day where there's tax fraud. You know, Yahoo had 500 million accounts compromised. Just about every other day we're hearing something in the news. You definitely need secure things and our, bank grade or better security. But it's a convenient tool that if you don't have, and you're shuffling a lot of paper, it's going to be hard to be efficient. And so things like a secure client portal, easy for your clients to get using those, and something a lot of our clients benefit from in helping them to keep efficient during tax season. Same thing with appointment scheduling. We have a scheduling tool that somebody can click on, a button on your website. They can choose the times that you're available to meet with a consultation, to go over their prior taxes, to get you documents. There's lots of different customization that you can do. You can have multiple people who have multiple schedules, all kinds of ways to make you efficient during tax season with appointment scheduling as well as reminders. Because again, if you're relying on somebody in your front desk to do all of this work, and they get, a bunch of calls all at once, we saw that big spike that happens in January, how are you going to manage some of those activities and some of those tools? And then the other thing too is, you can go out and get a calendar tool. You can get a file sharing tool. You can get another thing that manages your website. You can get another thing that manages your leads. You can have, social media. You'd have to log into each social media account to post there. You can have 20 different tools to manage all these things, but then it almost becomes more work than doing it manually. So our tool is all in one place. There's other tools that are out there, but I would definitely suggest getting something that allows you to do much of this work in all in one place, and also cost. That's another important factor, looking at cost. To have a trial, you can test ours out, and people and processes, very important to be ahead of the curve on your staff. And if you have staff, and hopefully you do, if you don't, then there's other things you can do as far as virtual receptionists and things like that, and some of the tools that I just talked about. But making sure your office hours during tax season, if they're different, they're posted, you have somebody answering the phone, and that's important for your clients, but it's also important for new clients coming in the door. Again, if they're going to Google, they search for tax preparer, they call, and you don't answer, it goes to voicemail. What are they going to do? They're going to pick up the phone and call the next tax preparer that's on Google, or get another referral to somebody else. So having somebody that's there that can answer the phone, even if it's a virtual receptionist, something like that, to make sure you have coverage on the phone. Same thing with emails, to make sure that you stay on top of those, or have staff that can prospect follow-up. Tax organizers, these are online, but you need somebody occasionally to answer questions about some of these things, client onboarding, making sure that your calendars stay up to date, and then the secure file sharing I talked about in a second. But then this last point, again, we're going to hit it over the head a little bit, but reviews, making sure that you set up ahead of tax season the process you're going to use to ask clients for reviews. And a lot of our clients do it either right after they finished work for the client. We actually have a button right in our system where you can click on the button and sends an email to the client and ask them for a review. Or you can also wait until the end of tax season and send out an email to all of your clients. Do that a couple of times during the year. We have one built right into our system. It's a very nice email. We get a lot of response from it. It just says, thank you so much for being a client of ours. Would you mind taking a few minutes to visit our TaxWhys profile or visit our Google page to get some reviews there? So having that set up and having someone who can at least be available to help you with that process, and like I said, we do that a lot for our clients as well. Okay, so the next poll question, again, this is about timing. We're kind of hitting some points over the head here, and we're doing it with the poll questions, which is true or false, it's better to wait until January before you start preparing your marketing and communications. Is that true or false? I'm going to go ahead and launch that question, and hopefully that's, if you're paying attention at all, hopefully this poll question will be pretty easy for you. And so I'll go ahead and give it a couple of minutes. Do you want to wait until January to start your marketing and preparing for it? True or false? And I'll go ahead and we're getting close there. We got like 90% who voted. Please go ahead and vote. I'm going to go ahead and close this down in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so yeah, you pretty much 98% got that one right. So good work on that. I'll share it, and then we'll go ahead and hide it. Okay, great. So that was the first phase, which is preparing for tax season. So during tax season, one of the focuses, as that showed that big spike, you're going to get a lot of inbound potentially. Hopefully you will. You'll get some inquiries. You'll get some people contacting you. Get prior clients wanting to schedule appointments, sort of the January 1st through February, early February time period. And with those tools, as I said earlier, one of the key things to do is respond quickly, and then more than once. And so this is something we hear from clients. It's sort of one of our frequently asked questions, and it's something we hear a lot, which is, hey, somebody contacted me from my website and I emailed them. Great, okay, good. What did you do then? Your clients are busy too. So if you use a system like ours, you can click on these little buttons that just say, hey, somebody came, and you go ahead and click on another button, and then next thing you know, you've got these series of automated drip emails that go out, and we have a series of 4 that go out. So if somebody comes to your website and they want more information on your tax preparation services, we have 4 emails that go out right away on day 1, day 4, day 7, whatever it may be, so you can keep in front of prospective clients in an automated way, and then also calling them at least once, but usually, again, sometimes it takes 1 or 2 or 3 calls. And they'll tell you if you're calling too much or if you're too aggressive. That's rarely a problem with our clients. Usually the thing is that they say, oh, I called them, or maybe not at all. And obviously that's not a good thing to do, especially if you're trying to grow your practice. I talked about the appointment scheduling to keep that up and running and make sure that you're keeping up with the appointments, because that's really the goal. I mean, when you get a prospect on the phone, you want to get them on the phone, hopefully, and then the goal is to either schedule an appointment, have an office, or get them in your office. I mean, that's ideal. If you can get somebody to at least, and assuming that you've asked some screening questions, it's the type of client you want to take on, it's the type of service that you can provide, and it's the type of tax issue that you can serve, then you want to get them into your office and be able to schedule them. And so this is a question we get asked a lot as well. Should I pay for advertising? It depends, is the short answer. The longer answer is, really what we recommend is building you up your online presence over time, your website, your showing up on Google when people search for tax professionals and for accountants, your social media, your email marketing, things that you're doing, getting referrals and word of mouth through online. That's really should be your long-term goal. And if you do that well, and many of our clients do, it does take some time. There is really no magic bullet. That's really the focus of what we recommend. Can you do some advertising? Yes. We have, obviously, we're going to recommend our TaxWhys service. It's pretty inexpensive. Right now, it's $199 for a membership for the whole year, where you get promoted on the TaxWhys site and some other features and tools and things like that. We're obviously going to recommend that. It's pretty affordable, and you get in front of a lot of people during tax season. There's other things too. There's Google AdWords. There's Facebook ads. A lot of people ask about those things. Are you hearing me okay, Lee?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so there's AdWords and other ads that you can do, but be prepared to compete, because think about it. There's also the January to mid-February time. There's a lot of accountants out there who are going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be paying for ads, and then you also have the H&R Blocks of the world, the Liberty Taxes, all these other big national brands and big companies, bigger firms that spend millions of dollars on advertising during tax time. So you're going to be competing in the auction market on Google anyway, and even though there's some other. Usually you would need somebody like us or some other company to help you with it, and unless you've done it in the past or unless you have a track record there, you still have to test it. Line is, yes, you can do some advertising. You need somebody to help you with it. You need to be prepared to commit to it, spend some decent money, and then maybe not get a very strong ROI because it is so competitive. So that's the bottom line there. And then also, let's say everything goes well. So this is a message that one of our clients, Lena's tax team up in San Jose, she's done so well with reviews, with traffic. She has, something like 80-something, reviews. And she's been with us for many years, and so she's done very well and done a lot of these things. And so she actually, though, has done so well that she gets booked up during tax season. So if that happens to you, good problem to have, still a problem, and maybe in some cases, but obviously, we'd love for you to send them to TaxWhys. We have something called Match Me, where we'll match them up with somebody really good if you can't handle the workload, or have a colleague or somebody. And this goes for the same thing. If let's say you don't do IRS tax problems, or you don't do bookkeeping, or there's certain things you don't do, have that, few other professionals that you can refer business to. That's a great way to have a cross. Okay, so the third poll question here, which of the following can be automated? And so hopefully these choices are going to come up here. It's loading. Okay, so out of all the things that we talked about automating that we're highly recommending during tax season, you get some software or something to help you automate. What are these things that you can automate? And I'll go ahead and launch that poll question. Okay, so posting to your blog, email newsletters, posting to social media, or all of the above. What's the best answer there? I think we went through those things. A lot of the things that can be automated, we definitely recommend automating all of them. So the question is, which of the following or all of the above can be automated through some of the tools and technologies that we talked about earlier? And so it looks like about 90% have voted so far, and it looks like y'all are doing well. Good job there. I'm going to go ahead and close this poll question in 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to share it. Yeah, you all did a great job. All the above, yeah. So, and even more, we actually talked about a few other things that you can automate as well. But these are some of the key ones, and looks like you all did well. Okay. And so now, serving your clients. So as you're doing the work for clients. These are some key things during tax season. And Lee talked about this earlier, and again, we've hit it over the head so many times. But really, what we talk about is helping to build a 5-star practice. So providing what we would call 5-star client service. So just that real strong responsiveness. I think Lee mentioned it earlier. We see it not for our clients, but on some reviews that come in for professionals who aren't doing it well. One of the top things that you'll see on 1-star reviews is they never got back to me. I didn't know the status of my return. It was impossible to get a hold of them on the phone. Things like that are what come across as 1-star reviews. But if you can have that fast, full, complete, clear communication with your clients, you're going to be much more likely to get a 5-star review from them, which you really things. They've obviously the 5-star service, but then these are the things that we can't do for clients. Taking photos of your clients if they come into the office. We call it, the social accountant. We actually have some lobby cards. We call them lobby cards. You can see them there. You can see the girl holding the cutest tax deduction ever. This is great content for your Facebook and for other social media sites to have these kinds of photos of your clients when they come into the office. And we have some clients who actually do a really good job of that. Who, during tax season now, if you don't have an office, obviously that'll be maybe a little challenging. Maybe you can have some of your clients, take a picture and email it to you, something like that. It's just a great way to get interaction. Photos are very popular online, and it's another way to promote your service during tax season, especially. So, and obviously that's a good time to get them when they're in your office. And then again, while you're serving them, as you're serving them, if you finish a project or you finish a return for a client, get those reviews any way you can during tax season. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Lee.
All right, thank you, Brad. Since I thought I was doing the whole thing on my own, I was already looking ahead on slides. So I am ready for what I consider one of the most important things to kind of address here. So the first issue, a lot of what we talk about is, and Brad kind of talked about the paid Google advertising, things like that. That's all very, you turn it on and off, you can spend a lot of money and get poor results, maybe you get good results, but a lot of the topics we talk about today are evergreen, meaning they build upon themselves, they get indexed on the web, and they bring you traffic for years and years as they go. So the more active you are on social media, the more your blog is indexed, the more people are talking about your brand and content online, it's going to help your overall rating, but more importantly, when I say evergreen, that content is going to work for you, not just when you turn on the credit card and start paying Google to give you traffic. This is free traffic. This is going to be a way for you to get new clients by just investing in your brand and investing in the content of your website. So when we talk about post deadline, one of the things I see is most practices, especially smaller ones, have no process for maintaining their relationships after tax season is over. And on this slide, there's going to be a bunch of different talking points of things you can do, but I'm going to talk bigger picture here. So consumers are attracted to influencers, authority figures. So just like, I'm going to throw it out there, I don't like talking about, but the Kardashians or other people, they have followings and they have built this ability to influence many people, and it becomes very powerful when it gets on the internet. So the idea here for you as a tax pro is to become that influencer. You want to be that authority figure. You might be the brightest tax pro in the country or in your region, but if no one knows who you are or no one hears or sees your brand or you showing that online, it's never going to come through for you. So it's really important that you understand that. So I talked earlier about life events and the needs of businesses and taxpayers, they change drastically in a matter of months, right? So these life events is, circumstances change. So something that seemed unimportant maybe a few months ago might be considered a priority today. And if you are not in front of them, so utilizing some sort of mechanism to maintain that relationship, you might miss out. So staying in front of your prospects and continuing to build that relationship really enables you to be there when that need arises. So here are some things that you can do post-tax season that we recommend and we have built into our client site. So thank clients for the business. It's the most polite thing to do, and what amazes us, and even when we interview new people as we hire, or even we see it in the tax business as people rarely send thank yous anymore. So it's a way to stand out. It's a way to kind of be remembered. Give clear guidance on timings for response. So having the IRS tracking, sending due date reminders. Those are things that really help, post-season. Ask for reviews. We talked about it the entire presentation, but right after everyone is happy with you, it's a great time to load up and attract some more reviews. So proactively do it. Some sites say don't. We are huge believers in it. Why not control your own reputation? Be proactive. Ask for follows and connections on social media. The off season is the perfect time to really go out there and find other influences in your area. So there might be, other professionals. It could be a estate planner, health managers. These are people that refer you. You want to start relationships with them online. Get your name in front of them. Keep clients informed throughout the year. And this goes back to my statistics on the life events, but try to automate that process. So when someone does get married during the summer, or someone does have a child, or a grandparent, or someone becomes a grandparent, and the first thing they think of is, okay, now let's save for this child's education. You're there to help them. So by providing content, you're going to be able to hit them when it's top of mind. So referrals happen year-round, and we know now with the October deadline, there's kind of a second tax season. So there's a lot of opportunities that are just not through, the April 18th deadline. So I hope that is some good examples of what you should be doing. So, the longer you stay in front of more prospects, the larger return you will get over the long haul. So it's definitely something you should invest in. But I kind of think that summarizes it. Those are important points. But go ahead, Brad, and talk about the goals.
Okay, great. Yeah. So the next thing we're talking about is those 6 goals that we had said that you can set for yourself during tax season. And these are things that we think are important. You don't have to do all of them, but things that we would set for yourself during tax season. Okay, so the first one is what we had talked about in the very beginning, which is really setting up and strengthening your online marketing and client communication. So whether it's beefing up your website, getting that blog set up, getting something to get your email marketing in place, your automated email marketing, social media, things like that. Get that all set up and have that be a goal to get a really nice site, to get really good emails going out to your clients, and have that all done and be set up before tax season starts and gets underway. Retain your clients, year over year. And so this kind of varies, and some clients will have a stronger rate than others, and some of our professionals, depends on the source of the clients, but your retention rate should be high if you're doing a good job and you're avoiding some of those switching things that Lee was talking about and providing that 5-star level of service. If it's a client that you want to keep, then hopefully you can keep them year over year and doing their returns, doing more business with them. If they have a small business, maybe you take on their accounting or their bookkeeping. Those are some good goals to have. Other clients, they either want to grow, or they kind of want to keep a solid base. So whatever your strategy may be and whatever types of clients that you're attracting. So we talked about it earlier. Deliver a 5-star experience. So what you can do, and some clients do sometimes, is that they, and actually we're getting some questions here about the timing. So there is one more poll question. It'll be coming up here in just a second, but if you wanted to drop, I think we just need 3, but that poll question will be coming here in a second. Anyway, so delivering that 5-star level of service, and you can do use is some clients will send out a survey. It's sort of a satisfaction survey. How did we do for you? Is anything we can improve upon? Would you recommend us to someone else? Those types of questions are great to ask. Then you can maybe identify some issues, if there are any, before you send out the survey, the review request, and some of our clients do that. But really have a goal to deliver that 5-star level experience. Increasing your fees, year over year, another thing to keep on top of and to have a goal for. These last 2, I would say, are both something you can accomplish and really, really important for you for the long term. The social account and trying to get some client content where you have photos, livens up your social media, your Facebook. And then that last one is probably, you've heard it so many times, but that is something that it's like gold. Having 10 or 20 5-star client reviews on sites like TaxBuzz and Google and others is like gold, because it's something that's going to keep your services in front of people throughout the whole year, and that's what people are looking for. It's the new review economy, and that's goals for you. So really set yourself a goal, however you can do it, whatever processes you can put in place. Get our help. We'd love to help you too to get some 5-star reviews. Okay, that last polling question, so it's an easy one again. Can we help you, or would you like some help or suggestions, or would you like a free trial to try out our automation system? Again, you don't have to use ours, obviously, but if you wanted to try it out, there's the a free trial, and Wendy on our operations team can also send a link to that, or ask us for it to get or you can just come to ClientWhys.com and you can see that there. Or if you'd like us to help, then let us know, and we'd be happy to go through your reviews, talk to us about your clients, and we maybe can provide some suggestions on how to get those reviews, how to set up your client portals and your email newsletters, your website, what's important in terms of showing up on search engines, things like that. We'd be happy to offer some suggestions. So no charge for us to talk to you about that. No charge to get it, kick the tires on our client management system and automation system. And you can even use it during tax season here, and have plenty of time to do that, plenty of time to get a new website up and running. So go ahead and leave that poll question up a little bit longer. It looks like about almost 85% have voted on that one. So go ahead and please answer that poll question. Give you 5 more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we'll go ahead and close that poll question. And so thank you for doing that. Let me see if I get that. There we go. Okay. All right, so that's it for the core of the presentation. We'd love to take some questions. So go ahead, if you haven't already, use the questions box to send any questions you have. And we are going to have a replay of this webinar on December 7th. So you'll get more details on that if you're interested, or if you know somebody who missed it and they want to join the live one. We're also recording this one as well. As I mentioned, we have some special offers for you too. So, for the more active folks, we're going to reach out to you with something special. And then also, if you use the coupon code or mention, excuse me, whoops, I went too far, went too fast. If you use the coupon code WEB20, you're actually going to get 20% off with us if you sign up for any of our packages as a new client, or if you're an existing client and you upgrade to something, you can get 20% off. So that's a pretty good deal for the first 3 months of any new service. For websites, for email marketing, for social media. So please do contact us, and we can tell you more about that. The same thing right now, it's $100 off the TaxWhys Pro package and membership as well. And we'll also get rid of any setup fees. So sometimes we have setup fees for like our Whitney service, which is our more premium, almost virtual marketing service, where we really take over a lot of what you would need done. Almost everything we talked about in this webinar today, a lot of that we help you with on that service called Whitney. Normally, there is a $495 setup fee because it's a pretty intensive program and a system to get you set up, but we actually would waive that for you. $495 we would waive as part of the Whitney service if you mentioned the Web20 or just mentioned to us that you were on the webinar. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take some questions and answer some questions. Lee, did you want to go ahead and take one of the questions that you saw come through?
Yeah, so I'll start with Linda had asked, shouldn't an additional goal be to get post-tax season client work? And part of what I was hoping to communicate, but maybe not well enough, is yes, after tax season, the whole reason you stay active and communicate with your client base throughout the year is it creates off-season tax planning appointments. People are starting new businesses. You're hitting them up before they make mistakes. So the answer is, and I was trying to say that, but maybe I was using too many words, but yeah, the answer is yes. That is the whole purpose of using a system that is built for year-round practices versus 3 months, you close your door type of thing. And from our experience and our point of view, the firms that are more proactive just do flat out better. They make more money. They seem to have happier client bases. They have higher retention rates. So I hope that answers it. But yeah, the whole goal here is to get off-season work, and it helps facilitate having income year-round.
Okay, great. And actually, Josh emailed in and said he loves our product. Thanks very much. I appreciate that, Josh. Someone had asked a question about the reviews. And so if you have only a few clients, it'd be great to get any of them to go on one of the TaxWhys or Google One of these review sites. Sometimes if it's somebody, even family and friends who you've done work for, they know your work, and we prefer, obviously, for it to be a client. That's really what it needs to be. So it's sort of a little bit of a chicken and egg, but sometimes you need to take on some work and do a great job, even if it's at a cut rate, to get started, or just get a referral from a colleague or something like that, or work together with another accountant maybe on a project. But yeah, you really do need to get those reviews any way you can, and I realize that that's sometimes a challenge, either if you're just starting out or if you have a small client base. That's a fairly common client question. And there was another one here. Get back to it again here, and that's actually, this one was similar to the, I do most of my work outside of tax season, which is great. I mean, you're less competition if you're either if you do IRS tax problems or accounting or bookkeeping. It's less of a spiky type of a situation for you if you don't do as much tax work, and that's actually, in many cases, that's a good thing. It's something where you can take more time to put all these things together, to get reviews over time, to get to really put a focus on going after that type of a small business owner client, if that's who your client is. Lee, did you see another question that you wanted to take?
Yeah. So Barry had asked, what is the downside of email password protected returns? What is the downside of portals? So the real difference between email is kind of the Wild West, where when you send it from your workstation to a client, it's out there to be, it can be found, right? So and it is not a secure area. There's no firewall protecting it. And then issue two, and I'm not a hacker, but if you Google, breaking email passwords, or there's so many little hacking tools that can accomplish that there would be my red flags there. Not saying that there are not systems out there right now that are totally secure and work. So if you're asking, the difference between email versus a portal is a login. So the kind of a downfall is people forget their username and passwords. They might need to reset them. That's kind of the normal. Even with us in banking, nothing's more frustrating when you go month to month and they make you change your password and you can't remember how to get in and those kind of things. So there's kind of a downside of the portal experience, perhaps, that people forget how to get in. But when they are in, it is it's a secure socket. So there's security and encryption built in, that when they are downloading a file or uploading that file, it is not in that Wild West area where it can be intercepted. So those would be kind of my quick answer to the email versus the portal side.
Okay, and so another question, and I believe it was from Miriam, had asked about whether ClientWhys works with other types of accountants outside of just those who do tax. Absolutely. We have CPAs, we have mostly smaller firms. We do have some big firms as well, but really the independent kind of 1 to call it 10 or 20 staff size firms. Vast majority of our clients are small independent accountants, CPAs, enrolled agents as well, though, tax professionals as well, IRS tax problems folks, attorneys. We have some financial wealth manager type of folks as well. So, and our content is geared for that too. So we have lots of great blog content, social media. We work on SEO for accountants who are looking to get small business owner clients. That's, and TaxBuzz too, by the way. Don't let the name fool you. We have a lot of people coming to TaxBuzz looking for accountants as well. Small business owners, high net worth folks who need kind of more planning and more wealth management type experience. So again, don't let the name fool you on either TaxBuzz or what we do. Yes, a good portion of what we do is related to tax, but I would say probably more than 50% now even is accounting and bookkeeping as well. So good question. Thanks, Miriam.
And I'll jump on. Dick Nadler had asked about getting the outline. If you're still in the GoToWebinar, there is a link on the right side where the handouts are, so you can just click on that and download it. And Deborah had asked a couple questions about pictures and the rights to it and using it. Each state is different and each practice might be governed by their own different things. But we've seen is these kind of social lobby card photos, the clients taking them, they're sharing it on their Facebook account. I mean, there's your permission already. And what we like to see is then you're resharing on your feed. So you're basically allowing the client to do the talking for you. Deborah, you had asked another question that I didn't get. So you had answered, yeah, I already tried that. It didn't work, but I wasn't sure what you were talking about. So we'll have someone reach out to you after the presentation's over and kind of walk you through what your question was there.
Okay, a couple, and then somebody had asked whether the polling questions have ended. You obviously can sign off if you'd like for the CPE credit. if you'd like to stay, we definitely have a few more questions here, you know, and you can also listen to the recording later. But let's see. So someone else had asked a question about other services beyond the website, and so you definitely, if you already have a website, you like it, it works well, it does well in SEO, and but you need help in social media. That's a fairly common thing. Or you need help with SEO, or you need help getting some reviews and building a reputation. With us, we definitely can help, even if it's not the website. There's other things we can help you with as well. Obviously, we would prefer to have the website. Our technology was built from the ground up for all of these things we've talked about in terms of the websites. But we can work with you, you know, if you just wanted to do TaxBuzz, if you just wanted to do social media. Thanks for the question. We definitely would be able to help you on many of those things. Let's see here. So, Lee, is there any others there that you saw?
Yeah,
Want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's Ivy. I'm hopefully saying this right, but the question was, I already have a website. The social media was falling short, and I'm looking at different options. One thing I would say about social media that and unfortunately or fortunately for me, I am on it all the time because I watch how our content does, what people engage on, what they don't. What we have found is a lot of these autoplay video is what we've seen some huge results with as far as shares, commentating, and being able to reach a large audience, you know, a very large local audience. So when your clients start sharing that type of content, they're sharing with your neighbors, your colleagues, you know, people they know, people like them. So you're more likely to attract and get your brand in front of people, you know, like the clients you already have. So what we have found is you need to post content that showcases your expertise, and you need to make it, you know, at times we use humor, at times we're, you know, mostly educational, but the video is a big differentiator, you know, for the cost points. You know, what we do is sometimes I question why we do so much, but we want people to succeed. And, you know, a lot of clients then will boost some of these, the video posts, and we've seen some great interactivity with that. So that is my suggestion there. Brad, do you want to?
Yeah, there was one. So let's see. Yeah, there's a couple here. So one David had asked whether we work with clients all over the country. The answer is yes. TaxBuzz, you know, the site TaxBuzz covers the entire United States. We actually have some clients on websites and other services that are international, people who do expat type work. But yeah, we do have some limited availability in TaxBuzz. We actually have some places where we may turn clients away because we do try to keep it somewhat exclusive in certain markets. When we start getting a good number of pros who have lots of great reviews, they have the badges and things like that on their TaxBuzz profile, then you know, I would definitely encourage you, David, and others to contact us right away, because during tax season, you know, we do have some of those TaxBuzz Pro memberships that sell, and in certain areas, in certain markets. And so I'd, you know, hate for you to miss out and to get in there. But, you know, we look for good clients too to work with and partner with over the, you know, over many years. And so, you know, we like to partner with those tax professionals, accountants who are doing well by their clients and who do provide a great service. And ultimately, that's what TaxBuzz is about. And that someone had asked the question, what's the difference between TaxBuzz and ClientWhys? Or, you know, I already have your services, or I already have your newsletters. Thank you, Miriam, had asked that question. So TaxBuzz is really the consumer-facing website. It's a place for them to go, for your prospective clients and clients to go, not only to look for a tax professional, but the blog has some fantastic tax and planning and, you know, information as well on the blog. There's a lot of our clients have their own blogs on TaxBuzz. There's something called Promote, where they have, you know, they can promote a seminar that they're doing on QuickBooks, and so there's a lot of good content as well on TaxBuzz, and that was the idea behind that. You know, and it's Lee's brainchild for many years, and, you know, we launched it 2 years ago. It's been covered in Accounting Today, and as I said, it's got millions of visits, and based on what we can tell, it's the #1 site actually for people to find local independent accounting and tax professionals. So hopefully that makes sense, and, you know, go check out the site and give us a call, and we can kind of walk you through it. It's free to claim your profile on TaxBuzz. If you haven't done that already, definitely recommend finding yourself there. If not, we can get our help, and we can find your profile there. It's probably there. Claim it. And then, as I said, definitely build out the profile, put your photo there, put some content on the page. It's easy to do. It's free to do that. It's actually free for us to help you, too, get reviews on your TaxBuzz profile. There's some things we can do there to help you get the reviews that we're recommending here. And then if you want to get premium placement on the site and you want to get the TaxWhys verified badge, then that's the TaxWhys Pro membership, which starts at $199 for the whole year. So it's like 50 cents a day. So that's TaxWhys.
Yeah, so Brad, Michael, thank you. He loves the Facebook videos we're doing, and he just boosted the one we just did on the charity tax.
Awesome.
So yeah, those are working.
All right.
Those are working great. So
thanks, Michael.
definitely check it out. Let's see here. I think David asked a question, and I don't know. I'm going to give you my answer, but I don't know the best answer to this. Do you send thank yous with invoices? The best practice that I've always done is I've always sent separate thank you notes, and on the invoice I always have included thank you information on it. That's what's worked best for us. Always being polite and kind of separating the two, because the actual thank you, that's follow up. In reality, you're kind of hitting them twice. But I've always separated it and make it its own kind of announcement. But again, I don't know the right answer. I don't have any analytics on this, but that's the best practice and the way we've done it and seeing good results.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. All right, let's see. And I think more questions about so the handouts again are available. We'll email you links to the handouts. The video will be available. We love it when our clients, because our business is built on word of mouth too. I mean, we practice what we preach. We try to. So we try to provide that same kind of 5-star level of service with our clients and try to be responsive and all that. And so not only if you have somebody to recommend to our services to, that's great. But once you get the webinar video, if you liked what you saw today, we would love it if you would share it with your colleagues on social media, or share with other colleagues too when the video recording comes out. So thanks for that.
Yeah, and Deborah, you just hit us again. I think this is best for a longer talk, and we'll kind of talk to you about how we do this. And I hope that will be easier than kind of trying to answer this question.
Yep.
But this is again about getting them to share the pictures, and they're worried about privacy, this and that, and we make it fun. So if you look at kind of the sample one we had, the best tax deduction, I forget what it was, but that is, involving children, and everyone wants to, everyone likes to be social, everyone likes to engage, and if you make it a little more fun and exciting, yeah, it's not for everybody, but there's a reason Facebook is as large and Instagram is as big as it is. People share photos, they like taking selfies. So this is not a problem. I understand kind of your concern, but make it fun, make it playful, don't push it, and just make it so you can kind of introduce it, so to speak, to your practice. And we've seen people, I think TaxFit is one who does it often and gets a ton of engagement. So it's definitely worth the investment of your time and effort.
Yep, and a lot of other, so dentists obviously, if you're on your dentist Facebook and other types of professional service practices, they do very similar things pretty often. So, so Teresa asked a question about the packages and things, and whether we would run the whole thing and newsletters and all of that, social media. Yeah, Teresa, we'll definitely have somebody reach out to you and discuss sort of what options are available. From the TaxWhys Pro all the way up to, like I mentioned earlier, the Whitney, which is really, it's almost like a virtual marketing director here on our end that helps to run and do it. Because, I mean, some of these things are, some of the things are easy. So, trying to get some reviews, and we try to point out the things that are easy, simple things that you can do. If you have time and you're trying to build your practice, some of these things that we recommend on this webinar and other webinars are things you can absolutely do on your own. But if you get busy during tax season, and you obviously, some of this is very technical, it's almost like, a small business owner trying to run their own books or run their own accounting or doing their own taxes. Yeah, they could probably do it on their own, but they probably would also make some mistakes, and that's why they need you. And sort of similarly, that's why we're here. This is what we love to do and do for many clients every day. So there's lots of different ranges of products and services that we can work with you on based on your goals and your budget. And yeah, we can take over a lot of this stuff that a lot of our clients don't want to do. They don't want to be doing tax returns all day and then think of something interesting to post on Facebook at midnight after they put the kids to bed. So that's why we're here. So thanks for that question, Teresa. We'll have somebody follow up with you. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, no, I think we've addressed most of it. If anyone wants to throw anything in there, otherwise I think we're good to close it up.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for those who stuck it out. Over, a good number of people still stayed on, so appreciate that. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate you spending some time with us. Look for more information coming via email, the recording link, and we look forward to seeing you all next time.
All right, thank you guys.